What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose. I'm not muted today, right, Gint? I'm not muted to start.
I hear
We're
you.
all good.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. We're streaming to you live through the Painted Lines Network. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button on the Painted Lines YouTube and Twitch account. And you can also follow the Painted Lines on Twitter at the Painted Lines. Very simple. My co-host Matt McGinty is choking to death over to my right. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt_McGinty. You can follow myself at DylanJD98. On today's show, Gint, very, very simple. We have the Sixers rolling the Indiana Pacers at home last night. So we're going to break down that game, give you guys our main takeaways, player performances, everything like that. We are off tomorrow, so we will touch on the Utah Jazz game tomorrow night. The Flyers play the Penguins later, so we'll give our predictions, goal scores. I think I know who gets taking, and
I got a new one.
And some trade targets for the Philadelphia 76ers. But first and foremost, I mentioned it yesterday. The state of Pennsylvania eased COVID restrictions, and then the city had to follow suit. Well, as of this morning, the city of Philadelphia followed suit, and fans are allowed back in Philly. So starting Sunday, fans will be back at the Wells Fargo Center for the Philadelphia Flyers. I believe they have the Capitals on Sunday. That will be the first game back. And then I believe the Sixers' first game with fans will be March 14th, which is also Selection Sunday. Indoors, so at the Wells Fargo Center, they will be allowed to have, I think, 3,000, 3,100 fans, something around that. And for Philly's opening day, I believe they announced 8,800 fans on opening day. And although that seems like a lot, I cannot even imagine what ticket prices are going to look like. I know Git and I are really trying to get down there, especially to a Sixers game before the Phillies even start. But we'll have to see what the Daily Dose budget looks like. I already have some comments here. Abe, what's going on? Abe, how are you? Mark, let's give some much needed love to Sixers bench. Oh, we are going to get to it, and I have some love to give out to my man, Furkan Korkmaz. We'll get to all that in a little bit. Again, Sixers take down the Indiana Pacers 130-114 last night. I have 3 takeaways. Give me one of your takeaways from last night's game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start with the bench, right? Especially Shake. And I'll just take Shake. I'll leave the couple other ones to you. But, I mean, Shake returned to beginning of the year Shake where he went on an absolute tear. It was like 4 games straight above 20 points. And he just looked to that form last night. He looked like the guy that we were calling Jamal Crawford and Lou Williams for the year. And he's Doc's 6th man, and Doc breeds him. And now we just got to hope maybe he can put a couple games together again, get back to form where the Sixers crowned him 6th man of the year or Sixers fans crowned him 6th man of the year before we were 10 games in.
Yeah, Shane, what's going on, Shane? Abe says, let me know what game y'all get to. I'll follow suit. Abe, how about this? If it's not in the Daily Dose budget, we'll meet you at Xfinity Live, and we'll just take in a home game from there. That might work a little better, but I really do want to get inside the center. That I agree, Gint. That is my number one takeaway. I think that's anyone who watched last night's game, that it's their takeaway. The bench, what did they have? 67, if I'm correct? 67 bench points.
Something like that. Might have been 57. It could be. I think it was 67, actually.
67. You talked about Shake, 26 from him. He actually hit 3 threes last night when I know the last 2 games he was 0 of 2 and like 0 of 3 from 3. And then your boy, again, Furkan Korkmaz, giving the Sixers 19-6.
Get the Undertaker. Get the Undertaker going.
Dong. Dong. I need to get that music up. What's the name? Sorry, got a little distracted. So he provides 19 with 6 coming from beyond the arc. But it's weird, Gint. I feel like with Shake, I think a lot of people saw this coming. I saw a lot of people on Twitter last night saying, like, the last few games, you just felt like a Shake breakout game was coming in or it was coming soon, and that kind of happened last night. And wasn't March 1st the 1 year from the Shake game against the Clippers?
I believe I did see that as well.
Yeah, so now March 1st is Shake Milton Day going forward. But honestly, I think the Furkan experience was more surprising for me. Now we can get into which one of those bench players is going to be more consistent, since I see Nadir's already in the comments. He's not going to like where I have to take that comment. But I mean, outside of the funny thing is, we're sitting here talking about how the bench looked great, right? Outside of those two, it was a little rough still, Gint.
Yeah.
4 from Matisse on 1 of 6 shooting, 4 from Maxey, 2 of 3 shooting, 8 and 6 from Dwight in 15 minutes. Dwight was fine, 4 of 4 from the field. And then, the rest came in when the game was over. But I don't know, man. It's a weird read from last night. Anyone, you guys can comment along with us and tell us how you feel about the bench. Like, I can't get a grasp on it.
Well, and I hate to be a broken record, I do, but the last time Furkan played well, he played well in that one Raptors game, obviously, when he went 4-4 in the first quarter, and then finished 5 of 11.
Say it.
I mean, this happens. It's one good game, and then it's 4 bad games. And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for the games that he's shooting. 6 of 13 from beyond the
arc? It's much needed.
It's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but dude, I'm not crowning this the guy. Yeah, I'm good. I just need consistency, not consistently, but
yeah, I just need it consistently. I just need consistency. And I mean, if we're gonna talk about that, which guy you can get consistency out of more.
What, between Shake and Furkan?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what do you mean?
So
let me ask you something real quick before we move on to the next part. Why Mike Scott?
Why Mike Scott? Why is he starting?
Why does he start?
Well, I guess because they're just instead of moving the rotation around more, they're just filling in the backup 4 for the missing 4. And I'm not going to lie to you, he hasn't been the issue.
No, he played all right last night, huh?
He's played all right the last couple of games. I'm not going to lie. Like,
it's just he kind of has. He has been shooting it okay.
I'll tell you what. He was 3 of 3 from 3 last night for 11 points. I believe the night before he was 2 of 2 from 3. I believe the game before that he was like 2 of 3 from 3 or 2 of 2 from 3 then. So he's stroking it consistently. Now, and I'll continue to say, do I want to see 24 minutes out of Mike Scott in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But he hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been eye-opening how bad he with him on the floor.
Actually, I guess he really is the backup 4.
Oh, would you look at that? We have a new problem today.
Okay.
Stop focusing on the bench, Gint. The bench is fine.
Seth Curry's the problem.
Seth Curry's the problem.
The guy in the 50-50-90 club is the problem, dude.
Listen, I want to make one thing very clear. And I'm not even trying, I'm a nice guy. Am I a nice guy, Gint?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And people can have different opinions. It's what sports debating is all about. I love it. Well, Nadir said a very eye-opening comment yesterday, and it was like, we just have different opinions. That's all. Well, it's hard to say that when I can't take any of your opinions seriously. Like it's not just a difference of opinions when you support Furkan Korkmaz and then you bash Ben Simmons or complain about Joel Embiid's minutes. It's not difference of opinion when Mike Scott played well, stop focusing on the bench, and Seth Curry's the issue all of a sudden. Did we or did we not say that Seth Curry played the worst game of his career 2 nights ago on Saturday?
Yeah, he did.
We said that yesterday. I blamed Seth Curry yesterday.
Yeah.
You're just going to, because the bench put up 67 points yesterday, you're going to ignore the last 2 weeks of bench play when they put up 15, 17, 19, 21. You're just going to ignore all that because Furkan hit 6 threes yesterday.
How about another thing that just came to my head that I have to get off my chest because my hate for TJ McConnell.
Just letting everyone know that's watching, this is going to be a very off-the-rails show. We're going to continue to break down this game, but it's going to be very off the rails.
How about, dude?
Well, this is news to me. That's news to me.
but yeah, dude, TJ giving it to Maxey a little bit last night, huh?
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Bad, dude.
I mean, it only happened like once or twice, but the one he gave it to him, he did give it to him.
Dude,
I would pay a lot of money to know what Ben said to TJ last night.
I hope it was something disrespectful.
It definitely wasn't. But at the same time, like I saw TJ give out a little smirk at the end when Ben started to walk away. But like when Ben was in his ear, TJ wasn't laughing or smiling or anything. And maybe that's just how he is when he's on the court. I really don't care. I just would love to know because you could tell Ben was joking around or, talking a little bit of shit. And TJ was just like okay, bro.
But, I mean, yeah, we talked about matchups going into last night. And I mean, Miles Turner, don't write checks, can't cash, bud. He and Joel Embiid are clearly just on a different playing field. They really are. And Embiid said it perfectly after the game. He's like, I say it's respectful as possible, but since I've been in this league, I've dominated this matchup. And it's true. And there's no one that's really ever gotten the best of besides like Marc Gasol for 5 games. But like,
and Horford, Al would get the best of him a little bit 3 years ago.
Don't say his name in this podcast ever again.
Let's talk about this, though. Let's just talk about some people's defensive player of the year for a second. Because when I tell you I left my seat for a second last night,
touched earth.
Dude, he got put in the blender.
Yeah, that was bad.
And I was waiting for Shake to just hit the back of the iron and not make the shot. And then the fact that he buried the shot. And then did you see Dwight clowning him on the side, on the bench?
Dude,
Dwight was giving him like shaky legs, dude. It was awesome. The Dougie thing came later, I believe. I think that came after the TJ.
Yeah.
The TJ fell.
Another thing is, we mentioned a couple weeks ago when you said like Matisse and Ben have that like little nod where like it's like, all right, let's get this thing going, like let's start locking up.
Right.
I know it might be, but dude, I feel like Joel and Ben at certain points in the game are like, all right, they're not scoring for a 3-minute stretch. Yeah. We'll go on a 20-2 run real quick.
Right.
These two are just like they can't play together. People are punching air right now. The way, dude, that behind the back pass in transition.
The greatest play of their duo is very similar to that, but the play that I just always think back to is 2017, the Boston Game 3 at home. Remember when he threw he left it behind the back for Joel, and then he ended Aaron Baines' career.
Yeah,
that's the play that will forever be in my mind when I think of those two in transition. Nadir says, "What do you think about Maxey? He got some minutes." I'm still trying to get a read on him.
I'm not jumping ship on a
no.
But I'll say this: he's movable. He's not the reason we're not making a trade for someone to get a legit shot at this thing. That's all I'll say.
Here's my take on rookies, specifically in the city for whatever reason, right? And we talk to the people, like I know Justin covers the Blue Coats and he talks about, they need time. And I get that. He's 19 years old. Trust me, I fully get it. But why is it always in this city? He's not ready yet. He needs time. Blah, blah, blah. But are you watching some of the other rookies that are out there? And I'm not talking the top 3 picks. Your boy Tyrese, the other Tyrese.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah. How's he playing, Gant?
He's unbelievable.
Okay. So do you get what I'm saying?
Even Emmanuel Quickly. He went after Tyrese Maxey.
Yes. So and I'm not jumping ship like you, okay? I'm not. I'm just saying, like, when he was the piece, when people in this city were willing to let go of Ben Simmons, but not him for James Harden, I was like, what is going on here? That's the roadblock. I like the kid. I do, man. But I don't know. Abe says can't play together. Ben is first in Defense Player of the Year race. Joel's first in MVP. Sixers are first in the East. Abe, you just kind of encompassed everything that I wanted to say in a second. Remember when the sky was falling on this show yesterday again? Because they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers in overtime without Tobias Harris, and their shooters couldn't hit the bright side of a barn.
Dude, when you texted me that last night, obviously. Yeah, and sorry, just totally jump ship, but dear, you're right. LaMelo Ball does play like a veteran, but
That's Gint's boy. So
the Charlotte Hornets invested all stock in LaMelo Ball, getting the number 3 pick in the ever draft.
Right.
We got Tyrese Maxey at 21. We didn't get LaMelo Ball. You know what I mean? The guys we drafted in the top 3 picks, minus one hiccup, are the ones carrying us to the number 1 seed right now that Abe just mentioned.
I mean, remember when the sky was falling yesterday, though?
Dude.
Like, they lost one game in overtime.
MJ didn't come back.
Without Tobias Harris. Yeah, MJ, what happened, bro? Where are you? Nadir's here. Nadir's commenting with us. Where's MJ at?
You guys ruined Scotty's debut, man. Or I guess not his debut.
Nah, it was his second show, but I mean, just looking at the number. Hold on. There it is. Okay. So our obviously main takeaway, bench contribution, something we haven't seen in quite some time. The biggest issue is, can they do it consistently? No. That's my answer for the time being. I think Shake can give you something consistent.
Dwight's going to give you.
Dwight has been phenomenal in the last week or so.
Consistency.
What was that?
Dwight can't play 25 minutes a game.
No, but Dwight at 15 to 17 minutes a game has been phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And he's been so efficient from the field. I don't know where this came from, but he was 4-4 last night. I know the other day when he had 14 points, he either didn't miss from the field or missed one attempt. So he was awesome. Obviously, another takeaway, good old-fashioned load management.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Ben led the team in minutes with 27. Joel played 26. They didn't have to play the entire fourth quarter, really. Actually, no, they didn't play the entire fourth quarter, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what you want with the Utah Jazz coming to town. You didn't want a grinded out game where they got to play every, 40, 38 minutes. Scotty Nadir. So Scotty will be joining us every Monday. It is Mondays with Scotty on the Daily Dose.
You scared him away, Nadir. He ain't coming back.
Yeah, he scared him away. What's the name? What was I going to say? Let's see. Joel won't win MVP. He's hurt all the time. You need to play at least 55 games, in my opinion. I don't know what he's at right now.
Maybe in an 82-game season.
Yeah, but they're only playing a 72-game season.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, for my money, he's the MVP. Now, can he miss a large chunk of time? No. But, didn't everyone have Kevin Durant in their MVP race most of the season? He's barely played.
Joel Embiid's played 29 games this year.
Out of what, 35?
Dude, that's a lot. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so he's missed 6 games, dude. And two were because of COVID precautions. When did that hit?
Someone stat checked me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it says he plays 29 games this year.
I'll tell you.
That is, I didn't even realize he was playing that much. It's maybe because the games he doesn't play were brutal to watch.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because they're 1-5 without him. I didn't think about that. Mm-hmm. Told you, everyone. Thanks. Keep commenting along. Very off the rails show today.
Oh yeah.
Good old fashioned load management. Like I said, it's even more important when you have the Jazz coming to town on Wednesday. 3-pointers. Again, obviously Furkan led the way. He had 6 off the bench. Shake gave him 9, but the Sixers as a team made 15. So my point being, obviously the Pacers are struggling. They're battling some injuries right now. But you're missing Tobias Harris. Scott. There he is, Nadir. He was just asking about you. Scotty said you seem like a reasonable dude. Where are you? We told him Ginn said you scared him away, Nadir. But they hit 15 threes. Ginn, is that something? Okay, let me ask you this. So I have to see. I believe Danny only made 1 in the beginning.
They were 1 of 5.
Danny only made 1. Joel only had 1. Curry only had 1. Matisse hit none. So is that, how reasonable is that? And Toby's out of the lineup. Like, what's a number going forward, or a number in the playoffs that you think the Sixers need to get to from the 3-point line per game? How many makes a game? Because you see too many where they make 6 to 8, and it's just not enough. 15, that's a stretch.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. like you got 15 last night, but you didn't get it from the guys you think will be consistently hitting shots. You know what I mean? Like you got 6 out of Korkmaz, and at this point, I don't care what anyone says. I'm not banking on Korkmaz to put in.
I'm not banking on anyone to hit 6 tonight.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying Korkmaz even more than 2 a night at this point. So like if it was Seth hit 5, Danny hit 3, Shake hit 2, and Tobias, and obviously Tobias is going to make shots too. But it's like you can't trust the fact that we're going to put 15 in a night because we haven't seen it this year.
But what I'm saying to you is what number?
It's probably right around 13 to 15.
I was going to say 12.
Right around there, yeah. But yeah, that's not. And I mean, so think about it. You got probably what? 3 from Seth. You'd hope for 2 from Danny.
2.
That's 5. Probably what? 2 from Tobias.
I need at least 2 from Shake.
2 from Shake. That's 9 right there.
I'm sorry if that's a lot to ask for.
That's 1, and then you say 1 from Embiid, and hopefully you can get 1 out of a mix of Korkmaz, Matisse Thybulle. So, yeah, that's probably right around there, right around what you said and what I said.
Mike says 15 at least especially against Brooklyn.
Well, that's where
that's going to be the interesting thing, and I'm not getting into that. Next time they play Brooklyn and we're previewing the game, we can get to that. They meet them in the playoffs, we'll get to it. It's just going to be interesting to see, like, obviously 3 is more than 2, and we know that. Great debate that has gone on a couple times with the Sixers not shooting well from 3 and letting the Jazz score 18 of them the last time they played. So that'll play a role in tomorrow night's game is, can the Sixers close that gap, bridge that gap, so to speak. My last takeaway again, and this is something really interesting that I think we can get into for a little bit, and you guys can comment along with us. It's how they responded last night after Saturday. And this is something you didn't see, at least I didn't see a lot of from Brett Brown, and I feel like I get it every time the Sixers play down their competition or lose a bad game from Doc Rivers. Doc doesn't hold any punches. He doesn't throw anyone under the bus specifically, but he really doesn't hold any punches. You don't play well, he's coming out. We looked flat, we looked lazy, we looked unenergized from the start. We let blah blah blah. He said all that after Saturday night's game. And dude, he got the most out of his team the next time out. I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about. Maybe I'm reading too much into it because they missed shots against Cleveland. They made shots last night. Okay, I get that. But when you hear the words flat, no energy, no, like everything like that, lazy, and then he calls him out, and the next night or the next game, your starters don't have to play in the fourth. That speaks volumes in my mind. What do you think, King?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Especially when you're missing a guy. Like Tobias seems to be one of those guys that's really gluing this thing together right now. And you still come out against a team that has been struggling, don't get me wrong, but a team you should beat regardless of them struggling or not. And not only beat them, Scotty mentioned it yesterday, you hope that this is a game where you handle it and you don't have a 20-point comeback and next thing you know, you got to play Embiid another 37 minutes and you got to play Simmons another 36 minutes. So it speaks a lot to me. And like you said, it's all credit to Doc, I feel like. And not only Doc, but I mean, your 2 studs. I mean, they, again, like I mentioned, I feel like they just turn a switch on where it's like they don't allow anyone to score and it's only 2 players on the floor. But I think it's definitely something very impressive and important.
I'm sorry. There's something that just like clicked in my mind because you're talking about the 2 stars, and I want to talk about Ben a little bit. We'll come back to the Doc thing, but I want to talk about Ben because we had to discuss him yesterday. Someone in the comments told us he's the issue after he's second best player in a bad loss. Okay. So it made me think, like, he had 18 and 6 last night, right? And he was aggressive at times, but it was only in 27 minutes, but he had 18. That's still pretty good, right? So it made me think, how long has Ben been on this stretch for?
It's been a while. I think it's almost dating back to that weekend where he took over against that Boston game, and then he had the 42-point game.
Ready? Well, no, I'm going back even further. Ready? January 22nd I'm just going to go in order for his game for points. Ready? 15, 3, and 11, 29 and 7. Then he had 11, 4, and 4 against Detroit. I'm pretty sure Joe missed that game, and that's when a lot of criticism kept poured back in. Then against the Lakers, 17, 11, and 10, 11, 4, and 7 against Minnesota. 21, 6, and 7, 15, 6, and 9, 16, 12, and 8, 14, 7, and 9, 23, 11, and 9, 18, 6, and 4, 42, 9, and 12, 28, 9, and 5, 15, 9, and 7, 15, 3, and 7, 24, 7, and 8, 18, 6, and 2.
Yeah, this is
I was told yesterday he's an issue. With literally lockdown defense.
That's what I was going to say.
He's number one in voting for Defense Player of the Year at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at every guy that's – and this is excluding the Kawhi Leonards and the guys that are considered top 5 basketball players in the world.
That are going to get their own.
They're guys – like these guys that are getting number 1 assignments every night aren't putting up those type of numbers. Again, excluding your Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, who are getting a ton of number 1 assignments a lot, and they're still able to do what they do, but that makes them who they are. So, I mean, to underappreciate what we're getting out of this guy is ridiculous. So
here's what I want to say. Yeah, well, this is a definite. This is what I was trying to say yesterday. Like, remember when the sky was freaking falling? But what's interesting is like people, like when it comes to Brooklyn, like that's the team that keeps coming to mind. People don't even care about Milwaukee anymore, and Giannis. It's just Brooklyn, right? Which I think is a mistake. But let's say his assignment's KD. And what's the thing you hear a lot? Again, like, oh, you can't stop KD, you can only slow him down, or you can't stop James Harden, you can only slow him down. That's probably true. But there's few guys you could say that about. I would say Damian Lillard's probably in that discussion a little bit. I'd say Luka Doncic is probably in that discussion. Who'd Ben literally shut down in the last 2 weeks? Oh, those two. So to tell me that won't matter in a series against Brooklyn or another powerhouse in the East is ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, it's tough because that Brooklyn thing is going to be – I really think he's going to see –
It's going to be talked about until it happens.
I don't think they'll put him on Durant. I think they'll throw him on Harden. I really do.
So what, Toby takes Durant?
Yeah, because, dude, he gets a ton of – they love to put Ben on the number 1 ball handler and the guy that probably the most usage rate. I know Doc probably isn't a huge analytical guy. I don't know if he is or not, so don't quote me on that. But, like, you look at James Harden's doing most of the ball work for them right now. And also you need a guy with size on Harden. Harden will abuse little guards he always has. And, I mean, Tobias has played decent defense here. And now, again, it's Kevin Durant. He's probably the best scorer to ever play basketball. And James Harden might be the second best scorer to ever play basketball. So it's tough.
Abe says, Ben is good when Bill Simmons, the biggest Sixers hater ever, said Ben is easily Defensive Player of the Year and Embiid is the MVP. That never happens. I just keep thinking about it, dude. The overreaction. What comment are you reading?
I can't tell if Nadir's being like sarcastic.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I've given up.
Yeah,
I've given up thinking if it's a troll, if he's trolling sometimes, and when he's being serious. Again, anything else you want to talk about from the win over the Pacers last night? Because I just can't wrap my head. It was a great win. They rolled the Pacers from literally the Pacers got out to like a 6-point lead or whatever to start, and the Sixers were up by over 30. Starters didn't have to play in the fourth quarter. It was great. The bench shaking, Furkan balled out off the bench. I get it. But at the same time, it was a really weird game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. it kind of like brought you back to like, okay, this is legit. You know what I mean? Because you could drop that game, and then you lost to Cleveland on Saturday. Now you lost to the Pacers. Now it's, they weren't that good. It was just a start. They had a weak schedule in the beginning of the year, which, I mean, realistically, we have gotten lucky with the schedule we were blessed with. But you and I talked about it in the beginning of the year. With all these new coaches, new players, like, we want this. Like, we want to ease our way into playing the Brooklyns, Milwaukee's, both LA's. Which I mean, we've gotten to look at a couple of those teams because I mean Brooklyn hasn't had a roster yet, but we'll see.
This is about to sound really dumb, and I don't know why I can't remember. Did we play Milwaukee yet? I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we have. You're right. We haven't. We played March 17th, April 22nd, and April 24th.
Okay, so we get a big dose of Milwaukee, and we probably only play Brooklyn one more time.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, how do we? I can't believe that. That like feels really weird. And
yeah, I don't know why.
That's another thing about, dude. Milwaukee looks good, and they haven't had Drew Holiday for a while.
Yeah, what a win by the Sixers and a great game by the Daily Dose's favorite player, Ferk. Ferk was on fire last night. Mark, wish there were some player props for his over/under 3-pointers made.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the day you go on FanDuel and Furkan Korkmaz is up there for like first basket, all that shit? See, this is weird to me,
dude.
I feel like a lot of people are at this point, and I'm not.
I'm not at all. They have, dude.
It's easy. It's
Middleton has looked to what we thought Tobias was in terms of not making the All-Star game. Every single Bucks fan probably feels the same way. Obviously, they have the guy that's won back-to-back MVPs and looks good again. They have a guy that's won probably multiple all-first defensive teams, Drew Holiday, who I think has missed some time. No 100%.
Yes.
And the Villanova Wildcat, Dante DiVincenzo, looks unbelievable, dude.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like our matchup against them.
Yeah.
I think we match up very well. I think if I had to bet on or predict the series, I think the Sixers would beat the Bucks. But I feel like I feel like because of the big three in Brooklyn, Milwaukee's just getting looked over. And like when I tell you Milwaukee is a game and a half behind us in first, like don't be surprised like after the All-Star break if Milwaukee climbs back in the first place.
Yeah, I mean
now they play Denver tonight. So if they lose to Denver, they're 2 games back. So
they just beat the Clippers the other night, right?
Yeah, they did.
Giannis had that game-winning dunk.
Abe says Sixers in 6. I love it.
Hey, you're a good guy.
Yeah, and I mean I agree. Like I think the Sixers would beat Milwaukee, but like I feel like a large portion of fan base or whatever this fan base or whatever is kind of just completely overlooking them, and they're on to Brooklyn. It's like that's who we got to get to, dude. I'm telling you right now, this playoff picture is going to end up being very weird, and I don't like it. I do not like it. We're going to end up in, let's say we finish with the 1 seed. Somehow the Sixers team that I thought would be like the 4th best team in the East record-wise is going to win the 1 seed, get home court, and we're going to have to match up against a healthy Boston or Toronto in the first round because the Knicks are overachieving. Now, I know there's still a whole half of the year left, but so far, like, do you want to see that? Now, I know we're far away, but Thursday we can get more into this because Thursday we'll review the Jazz game. We'll be halfway through the year, so we'll get into a first half recap and everything. But like looking ahead at the playoffs, I don't want that.
I don't want the 3 seed. That's weird to bring up, but the 3 to me is what's really scary because, like you said, we still have a while left, and I think Toronto or Boston will end up being in like that 6th spot. And not only that, even if you win that series, that isn't going to be an easy series to win. You're most likely going to play Milwaukee or Brooklyn as not the home court advantage team. So you're going to have to play them both technically to get to the finals. You have to play Brooklyn and Milwaukee to get there. That's obviously if they both win, which Milwaukee's only struggled. And even Miami's starting to look good. Like you have to figure Boston's going to figure this thing out. I'd assume Brad Stevens, I think, is a good coach. And then
very Brett Brown-esque.
I mean, dude, did you see that?
What? No, I don't know.
That dude, a Boston Celtics Reddit thread. It was, if we fire Brad Stevens, how would you guys feel about Brett Brown being our head coach? And dude, the thread was like, absolutely loved Brett Brown. Like, I was like, dude, I would do anything for them to fire Brad Stevens and hire Brett Brown.
Didn't they watch Brad Stevens whoop Brett Brown's ass like 2 out of the last 3 years in a playoff series?
Yeah, I couldn't. He was like, they were like, he gets the most out of his guys. I'm like, Joel Embiid is on a different planet right now. What is he getting the most of?
What did he get out of Tobias Harris last year?
Yeah,
And look at Tobias Harris this year.
yeah.
Wow.
But I mean,
Very weird episode.
That game was nice. It was especially after the show we had yesterday when, like you said,
It was great.
I
got to sit back and relax.
It felt like we were gonna have to start covering a new team, but
you don't understand, dude. If they would have like barely squeaked out a win over the Pacers or lost to the Pacers last night, this show would have been
especially
brutal.
Especially if Furkan did what he did, and then Ben struggled,
and Ben had like 11 and 2.
Yeah. This place we would have got lit up today, huh?
Let's see. Hold on. We got a new comment. Sorry. People also saying Ben needs to score more for a deep playoff run, but Ben scores more and we still lose games. Ben's impact only matters offensively if we can still shoot from the three properly, in my opinion. That's a very interesting point, Gint. What are your thoughts on that? Because I guess what he's saying is like the games Ben had 28 in the 42-point game, but the shooters aren't hitting shots against Utah and there's no Embiid. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. It's something I brought up yesterday because I mentioned what Brock said on their podcast. It was this offense predicated around we have three guys that you cannot defend one-on-one. And if you play them one-on-one, they're going to score. And that's Ben, Tobias, and Joel Embiid. So Ben having to score whatever. Yeah, if he's getting one-on-one matchups, he showed you he will do that at this point. But it's our offense also predicated around spacing with guys that consistently knock down shots. As of late, that hasn't really been happening. But Ben doesn't ever have to explode for 40 because teams are going to double Ben in the post. He's 6'10", and he is only proving that his back of the basket game is getting better, and it looks better. And same thing with Joel and Tobias. It's predicated around making the right read and just our guys hitting shots. So I don't think Ben has to score 30 for us to go on a playoff run. I don't think like there's a set number that he has to score for us to win games.
All right, let's move on a little bit because, like I said, as of right now, there is no daily dose tomorrow, and there's a big game tomorrow night at the halfway mark of the season that me and Gint can get to now. Obviously, something could come up. Someone could pop up on the injury report for either team by tomorrow. Tobias Harris right now is the only player on either team's injury report, and Doc is hopeful that the Sixers get him back tomorrow night at home against Utah. So, Gint, do you want to talk about this Utah game a little bit, give our predictions today, and I'll tweet out, I'll cut it up and put out a video tomorrow for YouTube. I'm just looking at this. I'm thinking back to the first Utah game on the road.
What, you mean the Jordan Clarkson game?
Yeah, but I completely ignored, like, when I'm trying to analyze this game for tomorrow, I completely put last time on the side burner.
What do you mean?
No Joel.
You're so okay. I get what you're saying. No
Joel, no Shake, and Utah was literally unconscious.
Yeah, we gave up 134 points.
Yeah, so when I'm analyzing that game, it's different this time around. And just looking at things here, the first stat that comes up is pace between the two teams. The Jazz are 22nd in pace, Sixers are 7th. Field goal percentage, Sixers are 10th, Jazz are 12th. Now here's the big kicker. 3-point percentage, or 3-point field goals. Jazz are 1st, Sixers are 28th. 3-point percentage, Jazz are 3rd, Sixers are tied for 14th. There's two things that I'm looking at tomorrow night. Aside from like Joel, Gobert, how does Ben go? Like, can Ben not duplicate? He's not going to put out a 42-point triple-double, but can Ben stay aggressive against that defense and everything? But there's two keys. Can our bench run with their bench tomorrow night? And can they close the gap on the 3-point shooting against the Jazz? You cannot have just about the same amount of 3-point attempts as the Jazz have makes and expect to win the game. I don't care if Joel Embiid goes off for 42 points tomorrow night, Gint. They will not even come close to winning the game if they get outshot that badly from 3 again. They will not come close to winning the game if Shake Milton has 9 points. Furkan Korkmaz has 5 points. Thibault has 2 points. Dwight Howard has 6. And Jordan Clarkson has 22.
Triple that.
Like those are two major things that were big when I said I put last game to the side, but when I take what was their last game, because Embiid's a given, dude. I'm fully expecting Joel Embiid to play tomorrow night and to look at this matchup against Rudy Gobert at home and dominate. I'm looking at Ben Simmons to stay aggressive. Hopefully, we need Tobias Harris back. When I look at the two things that killed us last game, the bench scoring and the three-point shooting, can the Sixers close the gap on both of those issues? What do you say right now? A day before.
In terms of if we're going to win or not?
Can they do either of those things?
I mean, I think
obviously they need to, but do you think they can?
I mean, I think they can do it unless the Jazz put up like an astronomical number of threes that, I mean, if you look at the last game, I mean, they shot, what, 45?
Yeah.
Do I think the Sixers are going to shoot 45 threes? No, it's not.
No.
It's not who they are.
We had as many attempts as they had makes.
No. Yeah, I don't see it. Also, I don't see that happening. No, they shot the ball extremely well. Jordan Clarkson hit 8 threes. I don't see that happening, no. But they need to, like you said, shoot more. And on top of that, not only do they need to shoot more, they need to make more. You need your two guys that are in the starting lineup that are there to provide spacing and hit jumpers to not go a combined 2 of 8. You need your two guys off the bench that are supposed to make shots off the bench. So, I mean, did Shake play in their last matchup? I don't think he did.
No.
Yeah,
so
Shake
that
didn't play, so
clearly made a huge difference.
That also gives you a different type of look from beyond the arc. But I mean, for me, like, I know you mentioned I don't care about Joel and Gobert, but like,
no. I'm looking forward to that matchup.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm saying, but I take that as a given. Like, I take Joel Embiid is going to show up and go at Gobert and drop 25 plus, 26 plus. I'm saying the two things that aren't a given that need to be changed from the last matchup, need to be fixed from the last matchup, are those two key areas. Justin, I'd say, yeah, man, but I honestly think we're about to wrap up in a few minutes. This has been an off the rails type of show.
Yeah. To practice that.
So we'll be back Thursday if you want to come on and join us Thursday, as we're going to recap the Jazz game and also recap the first half of this year of the season and kind of talk about where the Sixers are, what adjustments they need to make. But again, we talked about 3-point shooting. Can the bench contribute? Is Ben going to stay aggressive? What do you think there?
Yeah.
How does he attack this Jazz defense in the half court with Joel back on the floor?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because when this game happened, he'd mentioned the game prior to that. I'm not positive who they played, but they lost. And the first thing he said was he was really looking forward to play the Jazz. That's the game.
It was Phoenix, right?
Oh, yeah, it was the Phoenix game when Devin Booker lit him up. He mentioned immediately, he was like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to play them. That's who I want to play.
Right.
And I think I don't know if it's around the whole Rookie of the Year thing when Donovan Mitchell lived on like an alternate universe and pretended that he had a better year than him or that he wasn't a rookie. But I would love to see – you're not going to get 42 points. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be enough shots.
Well, I'll only have to answer that question if they meet in the NBA Finals, and if that happens, I'll just be happy as how they got there. So
this team weirdly does have a rivalry with these guys, and I think with these guys, and obviously it helped. Like the Ben and Donovan thing happened.
Didn't Donovan shove Joel in the back 2 years ago or whatever? Remember coming up the floor? And
then the whole Rudy Gobert just wins Defensive Player of the Year for some odd reason. Right. I shouldn't say that. Rudy Gobert is a really good defensive player, but he robbed Joel of one year.
I just want to see Joel cook him tomorrow, bro.
Dude, that's what I was kind of getting to, dude. 37, 14, 4 block shots, like just an absolute like clinic. Because I mean, this is the guy, right? You talk about there's no team that can throw one guy on Joel and have a ton of success, but like if there was a guy, and Jazz fans probably believe Gobert is the guy, so that's something you have to be looking forward to.
I mean, you also have to look at it as first place Jazz, first place Sixers, halfway mark of the year. We lost to them once, but we were undermanned. We could be undermanned if Tobias Harris doesn't play. That's going to be a huge hole. But if he plays, you're fully staffed. They're fully staffed. How do you match up 50% of the way through the season? That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to come out and say it. I weirdly think the loss to the Cavs was a good thing.
I will see. Yesterday, I was going on a little bit of a tangent, and then some type of comment came up, and we kind of got sidetracked. But I was getting into the point of, I said I was going to say, I think it was better we lost that game because I mean, if you win that game by 2 in overtime, it's like, oh, we didn't have Tobias, we figured it out. Still, like that's a win that we wouldn't have won last year. Was the quote they used, but. Like, I think that just opened up, one, the eyes of the players, like, yo, let's reel it back in here. Let's not let this thing slip up before the All-Star break. And 2, like, what are we doing?
I think it comes down to the 2 dudes that you listed earlier. And I think that's a whole another mindset and maturity level that Ben and Joel have reached this year. Like, they lost that game and they balled out. Like, if you and me can sit here and say it is not Joel and Ben's fault whatsoever that they lost the game. If Seth, everyone else was atrocious. But I guarantee you those 2 said, yo, we need to be better.
Yeah.
And then they come out and smack the Pacers and don't have to play in the fourth quarter. And now they get to play the best team in the West as of right now, who's on fire. I know they just dropped one to the Pelicans last night, but they're on fire. And now it's like, okay, heading into the All-Star break, halfway through the year, let's smack this team in the mouth. That's what I really think it is. I think that Cavs game was not a wake-up call because the Sixers are first in the West, so I don't think they necessarily need a wake-up call, but I think it was sort of one, and I think it's one that leads to a win tomorrow. So I'm going to say that Joel Embiid is the best player on the floor tomorrow on both teams, and that the Sixers win 117 to 113.
I just had a thought that came in my head, and it just, like, vanished. I forget what I was going to say. Oh, no, I got it. Yeah, when you give him prediction, but, like, Doc has only proven that he can adjust. And, I mean, you look back at – we played Toronto in a back-to-back. Lost the first one. You figured it out. You win the second one. Obviously, personnel helps that too, but this one's in the back of everyone's head, I feel like. Because, like I said, for some reason, there's some type of chippiness between these 2 teams, is what I'll say. Between, like I said, Joel Gobert, Dan Donovan. And so I think they're going to win, and I just have a weird feeling they're going to win pretty handily. And I'm not saying blowing them out, but I'm saying, like, you're up by 8-10 the whole game, and you end up winning. I'm going to go Sixers 108, Jazz 100.
Deshaun has 114, 111 Sixers. So that's 3 Sixers W's for tomorrow night. Oh, that's the last thing I wanted to say about the Sixers team. The NBA, the rest of the NBA is in trouble. Because now you're allowing MVP Joel to play in front of 31. And I guarantee you, in mind, like, these people, like, and I know that's really corny and cliche to say, but it's the truth. Like, you know, he feeds off of that. I feel like the whole team feeds off of that, and I feel like feed that. So I'm excited for fans to get back. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure tomorrow the Sixers go on like a 4 or 5 game road, and they're on the road for like 12 days, so they don't play their first game until March 14th. With that said, Sixers win tomorrow night against Jazz and finish off the first year in place. The Flyers go on to Pittsburgh tonight at 7 in Pittsburgh. They have 3 games in Pittsburgh before the first home game Sunday against the Capitals in front of fans. I'm going to say that the Flyers beat Pittsburgh tonight. I'll say they take 2 of 3 against Pittsburgh in this 3-game stand. The Flyers all year haven't probably watched too much puck. The story with the Flyers is they've been outshot in damn near every game they played. And recently, the 2 against Buffalo, and they're starting to get healthy COVID. They're looking at their legs. They're starting to pick up. They routed Buffalo on Saturday and Sunday. What was for the third period. So I think the Flyers are finally starting to find their groove. So I'm going to say that the Flyers win tonight, and I'm going to say Coots gets one in the back of the net tonight. Gint, who are you going with to score tonight? And do the Flyers win? I can almost guarantee I know who he's saying.
Okay, so a little fun fact for you.
You're looking up their roster right
now. No, that's not what happened. I went on FanDuel today, and I was like, you know what? Put some money on the Flyers tonight. I took the Flyers money line. I took the Flyers to win 3-0. And I took Farabee to score first goal.
Wow. You didn't parlay that, did you?
No, dude.
Oh, I was going to say, you are wishing.
You can't parlay a money line and a score deficit, I'm pretty sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe.
So Gint's got Joel Farabee. I got Coots. Flyers win. Sixers take care of business tomorrow. For myself, for Gint, like this video, subscribe to TPL's Twitter and Twitch. Follow them on Twitter at the Painted Lines. Follow the 2 of us on Twitter.
Please, I need some followers, dude. My Twitter's going down bad.
And we will be back on Thursday at 4 reviewing the Jazz and Sixers game. Have a nice night, everyone.